right, fellas, let's get into Babyface here. We gotta try to keep this real short and quick because I gotta keep up with all this editing and stuff. Now, for those who may not know what Babyface heel means in wrestling terminology, Babyface, good guy, heel, bad guy, tweener in between. AJ Brown.
Heel, by far, a disruptor of the team. Your team is winning Super Bowls. You're still complaining. And when you complain, you drop the ball. Not just in the playoffs, but you drop the ball in regular season games. You come up with all of these theatricalities. You reading books like you LeBron James on the sideline. You over here complaining
Mm.
online, playing Madden. You are a heel. You are a team disruptor. Usually, when you're on a team, winning cures all. Winning cures all. Okay, I'm not getting the ball, but as long as we're winning, I can handle it. That's the thing. Even when it's the same way at work, all of us got jobs every day. If another person takes a significant role, okay, as long as the team is winning, I can handle it. I don't have to be the focal point of it. Let's go ahead. Let's get it done the easy way. If we have to run Saquon to a Super Bowl, let's run it. If the ball goes through me, so be it. But as long as we're winning, Michael Irvin didn't necessarily get the ball as many times as he wanted. You think he would have came out and said anything about Troy? No. That's the thing. He never said anything about Troy. And sometimes they was. And the thing is, Emmitt Smith was the focal point of the offense. He could have had a hell of a lot more touchdowns had he played with a guy like Dan Marino. That's the thing. This whole situation between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts was T.O. and Donovan McNabb all over again. It,
AJ's worse than T.O. because Donovan, sorry to cut you off, champ. T.O., I felt like too many times he was used as the scapegoat.
yeah,
Let's not forget, T.O. recalled Donovan telling him, shut the F up,
yeah,
to which an offensive lineman or a former player confirmed it.
yeah,
Donovan drinking the night before the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Donovan not speaking for T.O.'s defense when it came to a contract situation, but spoke for Brian Westbrook.
yeah. But it was that situation all over again, except this one has to fall on the sword of AJ Brown. Like I said, you're winning. That's the thing. Be a good teammate. Be quiet. Be a good teammate. Yeah, I mean, you are fresh off of a Super Bowl, complaining about what you got, but Charlotte, look what you had. You was rotten down there in Tennessee. You was rotten because you weren't going anywhere fast without Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel down there. You were rotten down there, and you would have been rotten to this day had they not traded for you. You come to a good team. Guess what? You come to a superb team, Super Bowl team. This roster is a Super Bowl roster. And you come in and, the first year, okay, then you got to be disruptive. And the thing is, another thing I noticed in closing, PSP brought this up. You notice when he got 100 yards a game,
Oh,
that
yeah.
3 game stretch, he didn't say a word, and they lost all 3 of them. He didn't say a word. But hey, go off. You're going to go from a Super Bowl team to go to one of these little rebuild teams? Good
Mm-hmm.
luck with that.
BRF?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, AJ, yeah, like he's a heel. Like, just you shouldn't, as a receiver of his caliber, going to a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, you should be fitting right in and just enjoy the ride. And I mean, and you, it's not like you weren't putting up numbers when you got there. Hell, you were in top three wide receiver conversation your time in Philadelphia. But like, and it's a shame too because he's a talented player. But it was like the fact that the winning didn't offset the attitude and the negativity and the toxicity. It didn't offset none of the winning didn't offset none of that, and that's why I think AJ Brown right now is a heel because you went from being in one of the best situations in the league, playing for the best GM in football to now you're probably going to get traded. And I mean, Philadelphia controls your hand, so they'll probably trade you wherever they want to trade you, wherever they can think they can go, they're going to get the best deal. So I mean, you really kind of, I don't, not necessarily fumbling the bag, but you fumbling the situation. I mean, why would you? How are you? How would you be upset to be in a situation like the Philadelphia Eagles with all that talent and just I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I can be upset with that. So yeah, AJ Brown's he's definitely a heel. Like you disrupting a you disrupting a franchise like this just because you're mad you ain't getting the ball, but yet you have a Super Bowl ring and you had a good shot to get another one this year. But a lot of the reason why that team lost was your play. It was your lack of productivity in the fourth quarter with those drops. So yeah, AJ Brown's a heel for me.
I agree with AJ Brown Hill. I mean, as I mentioned before, champ, I think he should be traded. You mentioned the stat that I've mentioned numerous times. When AJ got 100 yards receiving or more, he wasn't complaining. But when he wasn't, eh. Michael Irvin.
Mm,
Little
wow.
baby face, man. And I love Michael Irvin, man. I love Michael Irvin, dude. Michael Irvin is that dude. Look, enthusiasm. Yes, Michael Irvin was a diva receiver, but Troy Aikman himself will tell you he was the best teammate I ever had, and that's saying something considering who he played with. He said every single day Michael Irvin would show up, and he be in the shake joint until like 2 in the morning. But every time he stepped on that field, it was something special. Him and Troy Aikman was so tight that he went to his trial. He told everybody to stay away, but Troy Aikman said, "No, man, I'm coming to your trial just to check on you, make sure you're good." I never forget Peter King, respected author of the old school Sports Illustrated back when
Sports
we were.
Illustrated, yeah, used to work on NFL, inside the NFL, yeah.
Yeah, I never forget that he used to come in there. I remember they interviewed him at one of those shake joints one time, and I never forget he came in there and sat down and said, "This is my office." So I never forget that. That was something crazy. But as far as being a teammate was concerned, although Michael Irvin had his troubles off the field, he was able to get it fixed. Although he had that little incident in the locker room, you know what I'm talking about. He had that little incident in the locker room. As far as being a teammate overall was concerned, he was good. Troy always saying high praise for him, as well as Jimmy Johnson. And when he got in trouble, when he was about to get a job at Fox as a sports commentator, and he got caught with that little paraphernalia that he got caught with, Pat Summerall, the late great Pat Summerall, was willing to put his reputation on the line so that he could give Michael Irvin a job. So that just goes to show you how much people loved him and adored him. And plus, man, I want my friends and my guys to be as excited about my success as Michael Irvin is about the U success. On the sideline, all just it just plus he's hilarious, man. Y'all remember that interview with that he did on Club Shay Shay about the check? Is this your check? That was
Let's
the
not forget. Let's not forget him sweating at
yeah.
ESPN when they were at Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I never forget when he said, "I put my check right there." So when they came in, is this your check? So that was, I mean, it's
Hmm.
comical, man. It's comical. And look, for all the bravado, bro, for all of the divaism, for all of the show, for all of the playmaker, for all that personality, he never disrupted the team. You didn't see Michael Irvin acting like AJ Brown. You didn't see Michael Irvin acting like Antonio Brown. You didn't see him acting like Terrell Owens. You didn't see him acting like none of those guys. And he was probably the biggest diva out of every last one. Michael Irvin used to celebrate every single game. And I'm not talking about one of them. I mean, I'm not talking about one of them clean celebrations. I'm talking about the Miami celebrations, if you get what I'm saying. So I watched, look, like I said, I used to watch Cowboys every Sunday. Mom's a Cowboys fan. So look, he never disrupted the team. That's the thing. He's the biggest diva wide receiver, arguably in history. But you know what? He never disrupted that locker room. He never came out and said anything bad about his quarterback. He never blasted his teammates. Jimmy Johnson had high praise in order to say for him. He won on every single level. And guess what, man? When you're not a team disruptor and you plant good seeds outside of the things that you do, people remember that more so than the acts that you did. People remember that so much more. When you are better as a person than you were back in the early 90s, people remember that. Yes, he was arrogant. Yes, he was. When you think about him and how he was in the locker room versus the guys that we see today. Think about how he was as the Cowboys receiver, although he was a big diva, versus how Keyshawn was in the locker room, versus how Antonio Brown was in the locker room, versus how T.O. was, versus how A.J. Brown is right about now, versus how a lot of different receivers are. Notice how different that was. Diva receiver, but yet I'm not disrupting the team. It's about winning these damn Super Bowls. It's about putting these rings on my finger. So as long as we win it, we can handle it. And that's the attitude that you have to admire when it came to Michael Irvin. Plus, man, look, you want somebody that enthusiastic about the team, about, and he could think he could run through a wall. It's just unfortunate his career got cut short, but he's still in the Hall of Fame, man. One of the best receivers of all time. And look, think about this. They ran the ball with Emmett touched the ball at least 400 times a season. Let that sink in. Both running and receiving. So Emmett touched the ball at least 400 times a season. So that means Michael was getting limited touches, limited targets. So can you imagine if he was playing in today's game where they was airing it out like a Steelers fan and they was targeting him 20 times a game?
But also, just not just with Michael Irvin, champ, also with Troy Aikman, because he and Irvin and Aikman get a bad rap because they were able to win championships, but they weren't putting up god astronomical numbers. Imagine if they were playing in today's game.
Yeah. What's so funny about that entire the triplets was one of the most famous trios arguably in sports history, yet none of them get any respect. When you ask people about Troy Aikman, and I've been on record saying that, they'll tell you he's overrated. When you ask them about Michael Irvin, they'll tell you he's not even top 10. And when you ask them about Emmitt Smith, who's the damn all-time leading rusher, they'll say he's overrated because he had a good damn offensive line. So it's quite ironic that a dynasty that won 3 Super Bowls, but yet their 3 main players that was able to get them there, they're considered overrated, which I don't understand at all.
Recency bias. You know that, champ.
Yeah.
You can't argue that, but I'm gonna say tweener. Even with listen, I say tweener because yeah, the controversies he's had, the little white powder substance, all the other issues. Well, I mean, am I lying? Am I
Nope.
lying? Am I lying? We can't disregard. We can't ignore that. But I'm glad that Michael Irvin was able to overcome it. Clearly he had some issues off the field during his time with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna say tweener. I do like him, but damn, he is annoying as hell though, with him how he talks about his Cowboys.
now,
No, he's the epitome of what most Cowboy fans are. That's why I like listening to Troy Aikman because Troy Aikman, when he says something, Troy's gonna call it for what it is. He loves the Dallas Cowboys, but he is objective. He is not blinded by the Dallas Cowboys love. Michael Irvin, on the other hand,
If he could,
BRF.
Michael Irvin on the other hand, if he could wear star contacts, he would, like in a heartbeat. But yeah, I'm with PSP on this one. I think he's a tweener. But yeah, because because you got some people that aren't really like fond of him for like the controversies and the trouble that he used to get in, whether it was like Miami or the Dallas Cowboys. But at the same time, when you look at Michael Irvin, the man, he's basically like a motivational speaker everywhere he goes. But then you add to the fact that he was a really, really good wide receiver, one of the best to ever do it. You can't, you have to weigh all that. And it's like you have those, like I said, with me, a tweener is like it's like the polarizing ones. You're going to have those on one side that don't really like him, but then you have those on the other side that'll ride with him, that mess with him because it's Michael Irvin. You can say what you want to about the man. When you hear Michael Irvin, you instantly think 1990s, the dynasty, the Cowboys. You think of one of the greatest teams ever assembled by any, in the NFL, in NFL history, one of the greatest teams ever assembled. So you really you have to give that man his flowers and give him a respect for everything he did for that franchise and playing for only one franchise because the neck injury ended his career before he wanted to. So who knows? Like if he had got a chance to go to a team that could that throw the ball out more, that give him a lot more targets, and maybe his numbers could have kind of would have grown a little bit. But at the end of the day, he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. But you have to look at the controversies. I'm on the side that ride with Mark Irvin. Hearing him talk sometimes on the air, when he get all up in it like this because he's trying to motivate his team. Yeah, you know how he do. You know how he do a thing. You know how he does it. So, but yeah, he's a tweener, but you know what I'm saying. I ride with Mike Irvin. Mike Irvin got my respect. He was one of my favorite receivers growing up. So he's a tweener, but I got number love for Mike Irvin.
All right, this is a comedian. I think he's a babyface. Marty Marr. Martin Lawrence. The great Martin Lawrence.
Oh boy, that's easy.
Yeah, it is
That's
easy.
easy.
Next,
That's
that's
easy.
easy. That's easy as hell. That's by far the easiest one you have. Martin Lawrence, man, that's
The host of Def Comedy Jam, how he was able to open the floor for a lot of comedians, including Rest of the Soul, Bernie Mac, Mike Epps, Chris Tucker, you know, and of course, he had the hot show, Martin.
yeah,
And the reason why it resonates with us, meaning us, the black community, because again, he portrayed a lot of characters that
yeah,
we could relate
Oh
to.
my god.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness, Shanae.
Oh my
yeah.
Ooh,
god.
ooh. I say Joe Rome in the
In the
house.
house. Uh,
Roscoe, Mama
Roscoe,
Payne, Otis.
Otis.
And then, of course, he and Pam going back and forth whenever Martin makes fun of Pam for looking like a dude, or Pam making fun of Martin's height.
Was
Or
making fun of his ears.
let's not forget Tommy ain't got no job.
I
uh,
think we never figured out what job he worked at that whole
no, they
entire
had no.
series.
We had a little theory about what he used to do, but that's another subject off the air.
I think
Oh,
Tisha
okay.
Campbell released it. I think he was like a daycare counselor.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like a guidance counselor, but we had our own little theories about what he was. but but look, Martin Lawrence in the '90s, what Eddie Murphy's was to the '80s.
Yes.
Let's just be real. Eddie Murphy was the king of comedy in the '80s, as far as black comedians was concerned. Martin Lawrence was the king in the '90s because if you really look at the '80s, every time you looked on TV, you saw Eddie Murphy, whether it was the stand-up special, whether it was Coming to America, whether it was one of the movies, Beverly Hills Cop, etc. When you look at the '90s, the main comedian that you saw everywhere was Martin Lawrence. Not just, not just for Def Comedy Jam. He had his stand-up special there as
You
well.
so crazy.
You so crazy. Then on top of that, the Bad Boy saga. That started a cultural phenomenon. Started a cultural phenomenon. And then you had Blue Street. You had a lot of Martin Lawrence did a lot of
Big
great
Mama's
movies.
house.
Big Mama's House, yeah. So Eddie Murphy was the king of the '80s, but Martin Lawrence was definitely the king of the '90s when it came to comedy. So it was just crazy. It was amazing. So and they got to give props to Martin Lawrence, man.
Shout out to
Oh
Dwayne on
yes,
this one. What
a
about the
thin line
movie
between
between
love and
love and
hate.
hate?
Hey,
Him,
man.
Regina King, Lynn Whitfield, of course, rest her soul, the late
Lynn
great Della
Whitfield
Harris.
is Lynn Whitfield is 72 years old.
And she still look evil.
Lynn boy, and she still look fine.
She still look evil and fine as hell.
Yeah, that woman is 72, bro.
But
And
she still
fine
look
as hell.
bad.
Her and Angela Bassett. Mm,
Well,
Hey,
there's
man.
let's not forget Sama
Yeah,
and J Lo.
yeah. I'm taking
well, J
Angela
Lo
over
collect
all of them, man. I'm taking Angela
what
over
J
all
what
of
J
them, man.
J what J Lo collecting engagement rings like you know like Infinity Stones. So you know
She gonna marry She gonna marry PSP next.
Well,
she, that's gonna be the hey. She'll be able to snap the
I
finger.
don't,
Then I just hope we don't all disappear.
I don't think my mama would approve that, but I have no problem with it.
Oh, never mind.
She gonna watch
His
the
mom,
minute,
his mom,
the minute he
his
signed that
because his
big
mama will be
contract.
Thanos and be snapping it.
You do realize she's almost around the same age as J Lo. You know that, right?
So,
What? I'm trying to be a J. I'm trying to have entanglements like Jada Pinkett with August Alsina. I don't
I
know
mean,
if I want.
it's J Lo. I mean,
I know, but she fine though.
is she? I mean, never
Yeah,
mind.
nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
hey, Martin Lawrence, absolute baby face.